Hello everyone, this is Vrushali here and welcome to the second session of Power Electronics and Applications. So in last lecture we have seen what is power electronics, difference between linear and power electronics, then what is the goal of power electronics and different applications and different power semiconductor devices, etc. So in this session we are going to start with the first power semiconductor, that is SCR, which is nothing but the silicon controlled rectifier. So let's have an overview of today's session. So we are going to see what is SCR, its construction, operation, then VI characteristics, two transistor model of SCR, SCR ratings, and then we will summarize our lecture. So if you remember, this was the diagram, this was the classification of power semiconductor devices we have seen in the last lecture, and in that here is our SCR, which is a controlled semiconductor device, which is a regenerative also. So why it is controlled, why it is regenerative, we will come to know at the end of this lecture. So let's start with the SCR. What is SCR? It is a silicon controlled rectifier which is characterized by bistable switching action depending upon the PNPN regenerative feedback. After looking at the symbolic diagram of this SCR, you will come to know what it is written over here. So, the generalized name of SCR is thyristor, which is a combination of thyratron and transistor. Thyratron plus transistor, it is a thyristor. So why it is called as thyristor? Because it is having a similar characteristics as that of thyratron tube, and it is also a solid state device like transistor. So it is known as thyristor. Then it has 4 or more layers and 3 or more junctions. It is most widely used and important member of thyristor family. So this is the figure. Here you can see how SCR looks. Then there are 3 terminals: gate, anode and cathode. So now let's move towards the construction of this SCR. Again, here you can see this is a 4 layered PNPN switching device. PNPN, 4 layers are there, and due to these 4 layers 3 junctions are there: J1, J2 and J3. It has 3 external terminals: anode, cathode and gate. The anode and cathode are connected to the main power circuit, whereas the cathode terminal carries a low level gate current in the direction of gate to cathode. Thus, the gate terminal is normally provided at the P layer side, and this is also known as cathode gate. So this is about the construction of SCR. This is a symbolic diagram of this silicon controlled rectifier. Now I will see how this SCR works. So talking about the operation of SCR, SCR works in 3 different modes or 3 different states depending upon the polarities given to these N terminals. So the first stage is reverse blocking state, which is also known as off state. The second is forward blocking state, again this is also off state, and conducting state, which is on state. So the first state, that is a reverse blocking state. In this, when the end N layer, that is a cathode side, this layer is made positive with respect to end P layer. So the battery is connected between anode and cathode in such a way that the positive polarity is connected to the cathode terminal and the negative polarity is connected to the anode side. Then the middle junction J2 will become forward bias. At the same time, this J1 junction and J3 junction will become reverse bias. So these reverse bias junctions will not allow any current to flow through the device, right? So only very small amount of leakage current may flow through the circuit, and this is because of the drift of the charges. But as this leakage current is a very insufficient to make this device conduct, it is as good as conduct is not flowing through this circuit, so this is known as off state. So in reverse blocking state, when we connect positive terminal to the cathode, negative terminal to the anode. Due to the reverse bias J1 and J3 junctions, depletion layers or depletion will form and it will block the current flow. Now we will see what happens in the forward blocking state. So instead of these polarities, if we reverse it, if we connect the positive terminal of battery to the anode and negative terminal to cathode, then the middle junction, that is J2, will become reverse bias when J1 and J3 will become forward bias. So again, due to this junction J2, it will create the depletion layer which will not allow current to pass through the circuit, and due to this leakage current, which is having a very negligible magnitude, which flows through the device due to the drift of mobile charges, but as again this current is insufficient to make the device conduct, which is again as good as the current is not flowing through the circuit, so it is known as off state. So in both of these conditions, due to the reverse bias junctions, the depletion layer will form and it will not allow the flow of current. Now we will see the third mode of operation. In the conducting state, what happens? The polarities are same as that of forward blocking state. We have connected battery in between anode to cathode and made anode node, that is anode terminal, positive with respect to cathode terminal. What we are doing, we are increasing anode to cathode voltage, and since this width is inversely proportional to the voltage, so what we are going to do, we are going to increase this voltage, so the width of this depletion layer at the J2 will decrease. So if the voltage between anode and cathode is kept on increasing, so gradually what will happen, this depletion layer at the junction J2 will go on decreasing, and at one stage what the avalanche breakdown will occur. That means the junction J2, which is a reversed bias, will break down due to the large voltage gradient across the terminus anode and cathode. Since the other junction J1 and J3 are already forward bias, so there will be a free carrier movement across all three junctions, resulting in the large amount of current flowing through the device, and this will make this device to conduct. So it is also known as conducting state or on state. Due to this flow of forward current, the conducting stage happens. That means although it is a reverse bias junction, due to avalanche breakdown or due to increasing the voltage across the anode and cathode, the depletion layer almost vanishes and it allows the current to flow from anode to cathode. So it is known as conducting state. So these three are the operating modes of SCR. You have to remember the two off states and one on state. Let's move towards the next topic, that is static or VI characteristics of SCR. So this is a circuit diagram for obtaining a VI characteristics of this thyristor, and here anode and cathode are connected to the main source through load, and the gate and cathode are fed from the external source EG. So again, as we have seen the three regions of operation for this SCR: reverse blocking, forward blocking and forward conduction. So according to these three operations, we are going to see the plot of anode cathode voltage versus anode current. So this is a VI characteristics of SCR, and it works in two quadrants, first and third. We'll start with the first region, that is the reverse blocking region. So when the cathode is made positive with respect to anode, if you remember the first diagram of the last slide, then the SCR becomes reverse bias. So refer this quadrant 3, 0 to P. So in this reverse biased condition, the outer junctions J1 and J3 are reverse biased and the middle junction J2 is forward biased. Therefore, only a small leakage current flows. If this reverse biased voltage is increased, then at the critical breakdown level called the reverse breakdown voltage VBR, a very high amount of current will start flowing through the device PQ. So this is the avalanche breakdown at VBR, and this avalanche will occur at the junction J1 and J3, increasing the current sharply. If you remember, J1 and J3 are reverse biased junctions, and this region PQ is the reverse avalanche region. If the reverse voltage applied across the device is below the critical value, the device will behave as a high impedance device. So the inner two regions of SCR, which are highly doped compared to the outer two layers, hence the thickness of this J2 depletion layer during the forward bias condition will be greater than the total thickness of the two depletion layers J1 and J3 when the device is in reversed bias. So this VBO, that is a forward blocking breakover voltage, will always be greater than the reverse blocking voltage. Then the next region of operation is forward blocking region. This is 0 to M. This represents the forward blocking regions in first quadrant. So in this region, the anode is made positive with respect to cathode. The J1 and J3 junctions will become forward biased. Remember the second diagram of last slide. And the junction J2 will remain reverse bias. Hence, the anode current is a very small forward leakage current. So it represents this 0 to M represents the very small amount of anode current of the, and this type of VI characteristics, this 0 to M, is nothing but the forward blocking region characteristics in which device does not conduct, means no current will flow through the device. And the last one, that is a forward conduction region, when the forward voltage between anode and cathode is increased with the gate circuit kept open, the avalanche breakdown occurs at junction J2 at the critical forward breakover voltage. At this VBO point, as we have seen, the depletion layer of J2 almost vanishes and the maximum current starts to flow through the SCR circuit. So at VBO, if the gate current initially this IG, this is having a very small amount of current value, that means at the VBO IG is almost 0. It is a very negligible amount of current. So M to N, we start increasing the gate current IG gradually, and as the value of IG increases, the VBO decreases. Here you can see at the IG1, this is the value of VBO, at IG2 this is the value, and at IG3 it is almost 0. So what will happen at point N? A suddenly very large amount of current will start flowing through the device N to K, and this characteristic is known as forward conduction region or forward conduction state. So in this high conduction mode, the anode current is determined essentially by the external load impedance. Therefore, when this SCR conducts the forward current, it can be regarded as a closed switch. So what we have seen, the VI characteristics in three regions: first reverse blocking region, then forward blocking region, small amount of current, and as we go on increasing the current IG, forward conduction region, high amount of current will start flowing through the circuit at low voltage. So this is about the VI characteristics. Then there are two terms, latching current and holding current. So what is it? Let's see. So once the SCR starts conducting in the as a forward current which is greater than the minimum value. So this current value is called as latching current here. And what is holding current? So the removal of gate current. If we remove this current Ig, it will not affect the conduction of anode current. So this value of current is called as holding current. So even after removal of this Ig also, the current starts flowing through the device. So this amount of current is called as holding current. The SCR will return to its original forward blocking state if the anode current falls below this level. Now let's move towards the next topic, that is a two transistor model of SCR. So in this you can see this SCR can be considered as NPN or PNP transistors, where the collector of one transistor is connected to the base of other and vice versa. Here you can see this collector is connected as a base of transistor T2 and this collector of T2 is connected to the base of T1. So this kind of structure is known as two transistor model of SCR. So this model is obtained by splitting two middle layers of SCR into two separate parts. Now we will see the expression for anode current in terms of this transistor parameters. So from this figure, here we can see the collector current of a transistor T1 becomes the base current of T2. This collector current of transistor T1 becomes the base of T2. So we can write and vice versa. So we can write IC1 is equal to IB2 and IB1 is equal to IC2. Collector current becomes base current of 2 and base current of 1 becomes collector current of 2. Now current flowing through the cathode will be equal to the sum of anode and gate current, as we know. So we can write IK, that is a cathode current, is equal to anode current plus gate current, IA plus IG. But we have the relation of transistor, that is refer that BJT diagram, collector base emitter diagram, where the base current is equal to emitter current minus collector current, right? So IB1 is equal to IE1 minus IC1, and we know that IC1 is equal to alpha 1 IE1 plus ICO1, so where this ICO1 is a reverse leakage current of a reverse bias junction J2, and when the two outer layers are not present. So now substituting this value of IC1 in this 2.2 equation, what we will get? IB1 is equal to, substituting the value, IE1 minus IC1. So substituting IE1 minus the value of IC1 has put here. So alpha 1 IE1 minus ICO1. Now in these two, IE1 is common, so take it out. 1 minus alpha in bracket IE1 minus ICO1. So it is observed that this is anode terminal, gate terminal and cathode terminal. So anode current of SCR will be IA, that is the emitter current of transistor T1, right? And the cathode current of SCR will be IK, that is the emitter current of transistor T2. So we are writing here IA is equal to IE1, anode current is equal to emitter current of T1. So the above expression IB1 we are putting, it is written as it is 1 minus alpha IA. Instead of IE1 we are writing here IA minus ICO1. That means in this equation I have substituted a value of IE1 as IA. And as we have written this expression for IC1, that is a collector current is equal to alpha 1 times emitter current plus leakage current. So similarly here the expression is written for IC2 alpha 2 IE2 plus ICO2. Now like anode current, we are writing expressions for cathode current of SCR also. So cathode current of SCR will be the emitter current of transistor T2. So IK is equal to IE2. Now substituting the value of IE2 as IK in this above expression, we will get IC2 is equal to alpha 2 IK plus ICO2. But we know that IB1 is equal to IC2. Due to this uh, two transistor analogy, here we have IB1 is equal to IC2. So what we are going to do, substituting the value of IB1 from equation 2.4, this value, and the value of IC2 from equation 2.5, putting in 2.6. So what we are going to do, the right hand side of equation 2.4, 1 minus alpha IA1 IA minus ICO1 which is the value of IB1, this is equal to alpha 2 IK plus ICO2, right hand side of equation 2.5. So equating the value of IB1 and IC2, which is equal, we will get 1 minus alpha 1 IA minus ICO1 is equal to alpha 2 IK plus ICO2. Now substituting the equation 2.1 in 2.7. What was the equation 2.1? You can refer the previous slide. It is the cathode current, total current IK is the summation of IA and IG, anode current and gate current. So I'm substituting the value of this IK as IA plus IG. Now simplifying, IA into what we want expression for this anode current. So we will keep all the IA terms left hand side and other terms on right hand side. So this alpha 2 IA will go this side, and this CO1 term will go this side. So 1 minus alpha 1 minus this alpha 2 into IA, and this minus CO1 will go here and it will become plus CO1. So on the right hand side we will get alpha 2 IG as alpha 2 IA we have kept on the left hand side. So alpha 2 IG will remain alpha 2 IG plus this ICO2, and this minus ICO1 will come here plus ICO1. So what we have get? So we have got this minus sign if we remove outside. So alpha 1 plus alpha 2. So it will become 1 minus alpha 1 plus alpha 2 IA, which is equal to alpha 2 IG plus ICO1 plus ICO2. So to get the value of IA anode current, we will shift this bracket term on the right hand side. So anode current expression IA will be equal to alpha 2 IG plus ICO1 plus ICO2 upon 1 minus alpha 1 plus alpha 2. So assuming the leakage current of transistor T1 and T2 to be negligibly small, we will get the expression of this IA. We are assuming the leakage current CO1 and CO2 almost 0. So vanishing these two terms, IA is equal to alpha 2 IG upon 1 minus alpha 1 plus alpha 2. So from this equation it can be analyzed as alpha 1, if the alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is equal to 1, that is a unity, the value of anode current IA will become infinite, as 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So this IA value will become infinity, and anode current suddenly attains a very high value approaching to the infinity. The device suddenly latches into the conduction, that is a on state, from non-conduction, that is a off state. So this type of characteristic of this device is known as regenerative action. So if you remember, in the introduction slide we have seen that it is a regenerative feedback or regenerative device. So why it is called as regenerative? Because it suddenly latches into the conduction state from its non-conduction state. So this is about the two transistor analogy of SCR. Now talking about the next topic, that is the different SCR ratings. So the reliable operation of the device can be ensured only if these ratings are not exceeded under all the operating conditions. So there are so many types of SCR ratings are there. Here we have classified a few: voltage ratings, current rating, and power rating. Also there are certain types like thermal ratings, turn on off time rating, etc. So again, voltage rating can be divided as VDWM, which is a working peak of state forward voltage, which is nothing but the maximum instantaneous value of a forward off state voltage that occurs across the thyristors, in excluding all repetitive and non-repetitive transient voltages. Then the second is VDRM, which is a repetitive peak of state forward voltage. It refers to the peak transient voltage that a thyristor in off state can block repeatedly in the forward direction. This rating is specified at the maximum allowable junction temperature with the gate circuit open or with the specified biasing resistance between the gate and cathode terminal. Then DSM, which is a non-repetitive peak of state forward voltage, similar to that of VRWM, that is a working peak reverse voltage, repetitive peak reverse voltage, VRRM, like that. And there are certain current ratings also, that is ITAV, average on state current, IRMS, RMS on state current, IHIL, we have already seen what is the latching current and gate current, and certain power ratings like forward conduction, turn on switching, turn off switching or commutation, then forward and reverse blocking, gate pulse triggering, etc. So this is about the SCR ratings, the safe area operation or safe operating area for SCR to work. So this is all about the SCR. So summarizing the today's session, we have seen what is SCR, what is the silicon controlled rectifier, what is the construction of it, then how it works, then its VI or static characteristics, two transistor model, expression for anode current, and the SCR ratings. So this is all about SCR. In the next session, next lecture, we are going to see triac, that is the another semiconductor device which is a triode for alternating current. Till that, stay tuned. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe, and happy e-learning.